This week in Coleman's Kitchen, we're making Bake Club's berry ice cream with a pretzel pie crust. So first I'm going to start making the pretzel pie crust by getting my blender out. And I'm going to scoop 1.5 cups of pretzels into my blender and just grind that down into pretzel powder. Basically, we're creating flour from pretzels. And you don't even have to make it into a pie crust. You can simply make these pretzel pie crumbs into a topping for your berry ice cream. Once you finish getting your pretzel powder, we just set that aside and get started on our berry ice cream. Next, I'm going to start on our berry ice cream. I'm using a pound of berries that are frozen, and I'm just going to cut open my bag of frozen berries and get those into my blender. I have a really high power blender at home. You can use a blender or a food processor, whichever is stronger. Into the berries, I add 1 to 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And I put the lid on and I'm going to pulse the blender by just turning it on in little short spurts until I get a rough chop of my berries. You can make it as rough or as fine of a chop as you would like it for your ice cream. All right, once you get your berries blended up to the texture that you like, in the bowl of a stand mixer, we are going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And we're going to whip this cream to medium peaks. In this video, I do my best at showing you that we want to start on a slow speed for about 30 seconds before we crank up the KitchenAid mixer to a higher speed. So let that go for a little while and we're going to test it. So it's hard to tell, but the cream is still pretty loose, so I'm going to put it back on. And you want it to be able to gather onto your whisk attachment, but not too stiff that it becomes like butter. Then you've gone too far. Once we have medium peaks, we are going to add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk to our bowl of whipped cream. Get a good spatula in there because this stuff is really sticky. I'm also going to add a 1/2 teaspoon vanilla extract as well as a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to, again, get my whisk attachment, turn it on, and whisk those ingredients together. Maybe 30 seconds to a minute. From here, I'm going to carefully fold in my berries. So from my blender, I get all my berries into the whipped creams mixture and gently go from the bottom up. So this is folding. I'm kind of making a J with my spatula. I go around the edges and then I kind of cut through the middle, flipping up the ingredients from the bottom up. This is a good folding technique. From here, you can transfer your ice cream straight into the freezer, or you can finish it up making it into a pie. I'm finishing our pie crust by putting white chocolate morsels into the microwave 30 seconds at a time in a glass dish, and I stir vigorously in between every 30 seconds until my white chocolate is melted. Next, I get my pie dish with some butter paper and I grease it up. This is a great tip, great use of that butter paper, not wasting any sort of ingredients. I take my white melted chocolate, and from here, I am going to add in all of my pretzel crumbs, my pretzel powder, flour, light brown sugar, baking powder, baking soda, salt, all these good things together. We're going to just stir them together until they become a gooey, pretzel-y crust. From here, you're going to use a spoon or even your hands to mold it into the shape of your pie tin. And I wanted to show you kind of how slow I was going before I sped up the video to see really how much time it takes to get your pie crust nice and even throughout your pan so you have a good consistency all the way around to the edge. I always make sure to not have too much pie crust right there in the corner. I like a good ratio of filling to pie crust that's even throughout. Smooth out the top and then go ahead and pour your berry ice cream mix right on into your pie crust. And we're going to put the pie straight in the freezer. Your pie can be kept in the freezer for up to a month if you wrap it tightly. It is so delicious. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Go ahead, click that like button and subscribe for all of our videos here at Coleman's Kitchen.